Faces of Tomorrow podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined with Stephanie and Mireille, the co-founders of SeedMe. They've been best friends, both working as accountants by day and entrepreneurs by night. They prioritize living healthy lifestyles and want to enjoy snacks on the go without worrying about the guilt associated with a treat. This is why they decided to create Seed Me back in November 2020. Their treats are vegan, organic, gluten-free, oil-free, and refined sugar-free snacks that anyone with any dietary restriction would be able to enjoy. So welcome. Thank you very, very much for coming on tonight. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. I know you're very, very busy and we had to redo this. So I know it's like a second night for you that you have to take
No
to do this. So it means
worries.
a lot. Thank you. Thank you. So, to start off, tell me more about your backgrounds, where you both grew up, in terms of schooling, what you did, and how you kind of got to where you are now. I don't know, whoever wants to start, Steph, Mireille, go for it.
Sure, I'll go first. So I am an accountant. I have a CPA. I went to JMSB. I'm a commerce games brat. Mireille and I actually we actually been friends probably since we were 20, I would say. But we actually met when we were 14, like at a summer camp, and then kind of lost touch and rekindled while we were both at JMSB. I'm
Oh,
local to
very nice.
Montreal, born and raised in Montreal, and yeah, that's about it.
Very cool. And Mireille?
So I'm also born and raised in the West Island of Montreal. My parents are Egyptian and Greek backgrounds. Um, I studied at JMSB also, graduated in accounting, got my CMA right after, and that's pretty much it.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk a bit more about Seed Me. So explain a bit more. I kind of mentioned it in the intro, but tell me a bit more about the product itself and just the business in general.
So basically, Steph and I always on the hunt for a healthy, tasty snack that can easily be snatched by our kids because everything I eat is always, I always have three kids running around my house uh, wanting what I'm eating basically. So it for some reason always tastes better what I have in my hands. And so basically wanted to look for a snack that was that you don't necessarily need a PhD to to understand the ingredients in them. So it was just how Seed Me started was I needed snacks for my son's school as well because he just started school last year, and with the whole nut situation, you can't put anything that have nuts or any snacks or dessert, and a lot of the like healthier vegan snacks or treats have a lot of nuts, which I totally love. It's just I cannot put it in a lunchbox. So
Right.
just started, trying a bunch of things, and I found this product and I felt, wow, this is an awesome treat that everybody loves. Husband, kids. Let's deep dive into this. Let's see where we can take this.
It's funny actually because
Very cool. So, yeah, sorry, no, go for
funny
it.
because the seed bite actually, everyone gets really intimidated when you hear the words like vegan, organic, healthy. Like it's people like they tense up as soon as you present those terms. And I'm from like an Italian family, and like my father's pretty standard Italian kind of menu that he abides by, and he loves them. And he has like his own stash now. My mom the other day, she's like, "Can you put in an order for dad? Like he loves the seed bites." So they're really everybody loves them. It's wild. Like different age groups, different kind of dietary, whatever they're used to
Just
eating.
anyone. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
exactly.
like it's not, at first you think, oh, maybe it's for the health conscious person, but then more and more you realize that like people like to eat healthy but not know that they're eating healthy kind of thing. Like it just tastes so
Exactly.
good, you're not thinking about the fact that it's not full of crap. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because like you were about like you were saying at the beginning, a lot of people you hear vegan, you hear healthy and organic, you're like, oh, it's gonna taste like I don't know.
Like
I don't even
cardboard or
know something.
something.
Yeah, they're concerned it's not going to taste good or anything like that. Even my parents sometimes I'll say like, oh, like I'm eating something that's like vegan, and they'll be like, oh, it probably like, ew, what are you eating? They're always
Yeah.
freaked out by that. But like, but like exactly you're saying, the minute you don't realize, if you didn't say it was vegan, you're like, oh, here's like a dessert or a snack, no one would think twice about it. It just, so I think it's kind of changing the view and the perception of what vegan is. Like, it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be all
It can
just
taste good.
seeds. It could be a tasty combination that makes it delicious. Exactly.
It
And
can
I think
taste
that's really
good.
great. I think you guys are changing that perception, especially for snacks, because like you think vegan as well, you're probably thinking like, oh, the person's gonna eat like kale and an apple. And yes, that's true, but there's so much more beyond that and you can enjoy it.
You can
So I think that's
enjoy,
really great
a
as
lot of
well.
people want to
So then
eat without feeling guilty, right? Like that's our main thing is that you can eat these bites.
exactly.
Yeah, you can have even like whatever. Sometimes in my house, I'm not going to say who, but some people have 3 or 4 bites in one sitting, you know? Could be me, could
But
be
that's
my
totally
husband, could be my
okay.
daughter, but and like I don't feel guilty about it. You know what I mean? Because like okay, sure, there's in some of them there's like a little bit of chocolate, but really there can be a lot worse that the kids can eat. So
Oh yeah, 100%.
there's no guilt factor. You don't have that buyer remorse like when you get home. When we go shopping, sometimes we read the labels and we're kind of like horrified what they market to children, especially, right? Or even sometimes like
Yeah.
products for older people too. Like it's crazy that what we feed people in the hospitals or at daycares, it makes no sense the way like the food industry is. So we're just trying to make like small waves.
Yeah, no, and I think that's great. You guys are leaving your mark in that way. And I think that's hopefully gets bigger and bigger and like a lot more people will see it. And, maybe eventually you guys will be able to like be in the stores as well and be able to like sell your product that way. And that'd be super exciting. And no, but I completely agree. There's a lot of products that are sold as being healthy or being organic or whatever, but like, then you look in the back and there's like at the end of the ingredient list, there's like all these like random chemicals or whatever they are, and that's you don't pay attention to it. You just see healthy and you're like, oh, it's fine then. You don't think
Yeah,
twice about like, oh, healthy dark chocolate, it's this, it's that. And some of them are fine, but there are a lot that like, it's more of a gimmick and it's more of a marketing tactic. And we learned so much about that. I took a marketing and food class and like I was like, oh my God, the amount of stuff that's in these products that a lot of people don't pay attention to. It's incredible. So knowing
absolutely.
that what you're eating is like a whole food essentially, you're just combining them to be tasty, but it's all pure ingredients, which I think is really great about your product, and like it's great that you're selling it like that as well. So I hope for you guys it gets even bigger and it gets even larger, because it's really a great thing to have and to enjoy for anyone, like you were saying. So what was that pivotal moment then? You wanted to create something that's, healthy and tasty for your kids, for your families, but what was that like little like we're going to do this, like this is going to become a business?
Yeah, I was actually on maternity leave, and Mireille always brings me like wild ideas. So the dynamic of our friendship is really like I would call her a first mover. Like she's out there, she's trying new things. I'm a late adopter. I'm like, nah, are you sure you want to do this? I'm
You're
not
more
sure.
skeptical about it.
Yeah, more skeptical, more pragmatic. That's what I call myself. She's like wild and unpredictable.
Hmm.
Anyways, she came over and she was like, I have a product. It's killer. I know it's killer. Let's do it. And it was kind of like it was in November, so the pandemic was already like way in full swing. And we're crazy. We already have like full plates with kids and jobs and stuff. And I just follow her. I trust her. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. What's the worst can happen? Maybe 5 people will buy from us. We thought maybe our aunts, our
Hmm.
sisters, our moms, there's 5 boxes, people will buy. And then actually, like, we sold out in like 3 hours. We had 60 boxes, and then we were hyperventilating because we were like, how are we going to produce it all?
That's insane. That must be such a great feeling though. You're like, oh my God, like everyone's responding to it. I feel like, you thought smaller, okay, just my family members are gonna buy. But then when you have so many people buying it and people you don't even know, it must be such like a exciting feeling. Like, oh my God, like even, you know,
Actually,
less
I have
known
to
people
say,
that I know of are buying it. Yeah.
absolutely, Tiffany, and it's funny because I never stop in it. I never get bored of hearing the same comments, and I'll hear the same comment on and on about it's so good, my kids loved it, and or when people send me pictures of their kids, I've seen so many pictures of kids eating my seed bites, and it just doesn't get old. It makes me so
Of
happy
course.
to see
Yeah.
that people are liking the product. I put a lot of I've put a lot of thought and trial and error into those products. And well, I'll be completely honest with you. When kids eat something, especially when it comes to what they eat, they're very honest. It's a straight up answer.
Mhm.
Like, they'll lie to you about hitting their brother or their sister, but they won't lie about something that doesn't taste good.
No, it's true. It's
So
very true. If they don't like it, they're just gonna spit it out or they're not gonna eat it, you know? So if they're enjoying it, there's a reason why they're enjoying it, you know?
exactly. And I have to say, the pivotal moment, I've always imagined myself as being as having something, or being an entrepreneur in something that I truly, enjoy doing and passionate about. And I've always been passionate about the doing stuff in the kitchen, and even more so as the years have passed, doing something in the kitchen that is healthy, that is healthier, always the healthier version. And I tell this to my friends and my family all the time. Making something with sugar and butter is easy to make it tasty. It's easy to make things
Mhm.
good when you throw in some butter and sugar, but what's
Right, because that's what
what's
the human body
challenging.
wants, you know?
Exactly. And I like the challenge of making something taste good and looking at them and say, "Hey, by the way, there's no oil in there. Did you know?" Or, "I didn't put any dairy," or, "There's no eggs in this. Could you tell?" And so
You
I
should do
I
like a
like
taste
to
test or
see.
like a video. Like, doing that. You
Yeah.
should literally do, like, a TikTok, and you should have people trying and be like, "Oh, what do you think's in it?" You know? And they'll be like, "I don't know, butter and I don't know, whatever," and it's like, "Haha, no, it's not. It's actually XYZ," you know? You should do something like that. You never know, like, it'll really I think it would really sell and, like, bring your point to life, you know, that you wanna take something and make it healthy, and you did, and it's amazing, you know? So I think that would be a great way to market. I don't know, it just came to my head right now as we're talking about this. Sorry,
Tiffany,
continue what you
that's
were
an
saying.
awesome idea. No, that's an awesome idea. I'm definitely gonna do the work on that TikTok. It'll probably take me three weeks, but
It's okay, you got time, don't
I'm so
worry.
bad at that stuff. Um, yeah, so when I found that product, I tasted it, and I had my husband taste it, and I was blown away. I felt that this is an interesting product. And so I was like, that's it, this is it. My babies, my kids, I have three kids. They're a little bit older now, they're not super old, but my youngest was 2 at the time. And I said, you know what, this is my time, this is my time to finally pursue my passion, and to kick this into full gear, and to see where this leads us.
Yeah, and I think that's great, you know, and like I think the exciting part of like, you know, where's this gonna go? You know, there it could go in many directions, and you're just like, you know, we're gonna aim for like the best route. We're gonna hopefully this is gonna be successful, and already it's you know so many people are loving it, like you're saying, and you know you've worked with so many different individuals on your product, so I think that's so exciting, and you never know what's gonna be next. You know, there's just I think that's what's the fun part too about starting a business, although it's definitely intimidating. I can imagine, but there's always that excitement, like oh my god, how are we gonna get bigger? How are we gonna you know the next part of it, of the business. So then that kind of like leads into my next question, I guess you can say. Did you ever envision yourself starting a business, or at least a business in the food industry?
For me, definitely not. I would say like I'm a pretty good corporate citizen. Like I'm good in the machine. So I never really like, I get a lot of comments at work like, "Oh, you'd be great running your own shop," but it's not something I ever, actively thought of to say like, "You know what, I need to find a way out of my corporate job." And again, Mireille has a different perspective, but she is always kind of kicking me in the butt to try something new. And I would say that like through this process of kind of launching Seed Me, that I've definitely found like a passion, and kind of now I'm way more motivated to branch out and do my own thing. And I realize, you know, accountancy really gave me like a good foundation to do this kind of adventure, but I have this whole other like set of skills that I didn't know about. So
Yeah,
I didn't plan for it, but it was like it's a nice surprise.
yeah, and I think that's also like you know again something that's fun about business. You don't necessarily plan for it, you can, but you know it could just happen like that, and it could be like you know a new addition to your life, and you never know where that will go. So that's also cool. And how about
Yeah.
yourself, Mireille?
No, I have to say, I totally envisioned myself being an entrepreneur. I hoped for it, I wished for it so many times. I've had so many different ideas in the past, and my father being an entrepreneur his entire life as well, like he's owned restaurants, and I was at his restaurant making lattes at the age of 14 years old, helping him with the making salads and sandwiches and meals and stuff like that. And for me, I this is what I enjoyed doing, and I grew up seeing that. And so for me, it was something I looked up to. And my husband, when I got married, my husband's very much that type of a person, and his family as well is a family of entrepreneurs, and they've owned different businesses. So I'm, watching these people go and watching these people succeed is definitely, like a surrounding that is conducive for that type of environment. And so I definitely envisioned it. And yeah, that's that's it. That's
Very
about it.
cool. I honestly love that, and it's an exciting surprise, like I was telling you, Steph, and it's just it's you never know where that's gonna go, and you have that feeling in you, Mireille, you're kind of like you were saying before, you're the one who will initiate that kind of project to happen, and then it's like, okay, well, and then you start bouncing ideas off each other. It's like, okay, where are we going to go, how are we going to make this better? And that's kind of like the fuel that keeps you going as well with it, I can imagine. And like that's so exciting, and I think like watching it come to life and get bigger and grow is just the whole thing is just it makes it more rewarding and getting you excited to wake up every day to like, okay, how are we going to take this to the next level today? So that's honestly very cool. So to kind of dive in more deeper into the business aspect of the questions, what would you say was like the first thing you did once you're like, okay, now this is happening, you realize this is what we're going to make Seed Me come to life? What was your first step in this whole journey?
So we had a killer product. So is getting the name out
That's
there.
always
So
a good start. Yeah.
obviously, like social media was the first entry point for us. It was like the easiest way to get started. And we kind of fell into our roles very naturally. Like Mireille is the one responsible for the product, for production, for inventory, for kitchen management. And I would never have ever called myself a marketing manager or a social media connoisseur at all. But I kind of just like slid right into that role. And so we created an account. We got in touch with like an influencer that we had a connection with, Hannah from Alatab, and she posted our product. She loved it, and then like wow, our account blew up, and that's how we started rolling. And that's pretty much the approach we've been taking is just try our product, get it out there. We've been doing
Exactly.
an immense amount of free product, just have it kind of flood social media. And considering that's been the only tool that we've had so far, we're not in any retailers yet. It's been quite successful considering Mireille and I are like full time moms, full time jobs, and we're doing this like between the hours of 8 and 11 every night type of thing.
Right.
We've done great. Like we've sold like over 15,000 bites. So it's been like
That's amazing.
a very fast paced ride and a lot of obstacles and challenges. And we kind of just take one step at a time. And actually, this weekend we got together, 2 meters apart with masks and everything. But we had like a strategy session, to think about where is the future of this? Is it a hobby? Is it a life dream? What's our plan? So we're definitely really we share the
That's very
enthusiasm.
exciting.
Yeah, we share the enthusiasm that you're portraying as well. We're really excited to see where it goes.
Great. That's honestly great. And, being able to have those kind of meetings, I feel it's like like I was saying, it gets you excited, gets you, okay, I'm sure like when you're having that meeting, okay, where's this going next? That's a huge conversation, it's like almost in a relationship. You're like, okay, where's this relationship going
That's
next? And it's like,
exactly.
I
It's
mean, you
so
hope for the
funny.
good.
It's so funny you mentioned that because we literally said, like, I told her, I was like, now we're like married almost. Like, there's nothing between us that's
Yeah.
like private anymore. Like, if something's off in your life, I need to know about it because now everything is intermixed, right? So,
Right.
and we have like full plates. We have expectations from husbands, from family, from children, from work. We have to be able to support each other through those moments. Like it's not
Right.
easy. We're talking about all the enthusiasm, but there's an incredible amount of challenges and obstacles behind starting your own business, especially as young moms, like our babies, like, I mean, Mireille's kids are a little bit older, but really, a 3-year-old is not fully
No,
independent. And I have,
exactly. They still can't take care of themselves.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I mean, not even a 7-year-old can take care of themselves. So, like, she's got her hands
Right.
full. I have 2 under, like, 3 years old, so it's definitely, like, it's mentally challenging, emotionally draining, so we're putting a lot of ourselves, we're spreading ourselves very thin, so that's why, like, the sessions, they're encouraging, and they're a way for us to connect with each other and to say, like, "Are we in? Like, are we supporting each other? We're going for it?" So it does revitalize,
That's
but it
good.
also lets us kind of address, like, whatever challenges we have ahead too.
Right, right. So that kind of also, ties into what I was going to ask you guys next. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced with starting a new business, especially, yes, being like moms and working and all of that. We will dive obviously a bit deeper into that specific topic after, but in general, what challenges have you faced?
You know, every basically, I feel like every step has had its own challenges. In the beginning, it started by, production capacity. Then it was packaging. Then it was delivery. Actually, no, delivery. Then every week we've had a challenge, and we've reintroduced change. And then there was an employee. Then there was another employee. Then there was a new product, a new ingredients. And so we're constantly, improving the process, but with that came a lot of challenges. They don't always work. Not everything always works from the first time. And so um, production at the beginning was definitely one of our biggest challenges, because our product is handmade. We hand make with love. Yes, the term is, we definitely hand make every bite with love. And it's not a machine. So at first it was really very labor intensive in individual molds. So every little square had its own mold, and it would take so much time. And as we as we increased our sales, and as we kept getting in more and more sales, and we're like, okay, well, we have to find another solution to speed that up, because it's not sustainable. So, just researching, sourcing different companies that can help us, have a custom frame, a custom cutter, um, several back and forths. It's not just as easy as, I need a mold, and I need it to be, um, I need this size. Our product is raw. It's sticky, so it doesn't. Not every mold works. So it was definitely a challenge. And um, number one challenge, it was, find, finding that vendor, but that we were able to solve that quite quickly. So that was good. And
I would say another, like, huge stress factor is the pandemic. We started at a really strange time. Mireille and I are technically not even allowed to get together unless it's at, like, the kitchen, and we have curfew. And
Hmm.
so originally we were actually producing out of my kitchen, and we were making bites till like 2 in the morning. And then the lockdown
Wow.
happened, and actually in Quebec, you're not allowed to make any product or sell anything from your home. You actually need certification. So that was another pivot that we had to take. We got, Mireille is MAPAC certified. We work out of a MAPAC certified kitchen. So we made a lot of big moves. But, again, like, flexibility with our schedule, curfew now, so when are we getting together? Well, we have to cut out time from our children and our families. Like, it's definitely a big challenge. And we always talk about mom guilt and all those things. Like, those are emotional challenges that we're navigating as well, like being down on this path.
Right. And obviously, the I don't want to say the negative part of it, but I guess the more the challenges of all of this, overall the positives, I guess you could say, will outweigh the challenges. That's why you're continuing to do it. But obviously, these are challenges you have to consider. Whether it's in you're in, like, if someone's in your situation or just in general, there's always going to be challenges, and it needs to be more known. I think that there are a lot more challenges, and it's not necessarily as easy as, okay, we're going to make this product and sell it, and if some for me maybe for sorry maybe for some people it is as easy as that, but especially when you have a bunch of constraints and on top of it we have lockdown and curfew now, which really does not help the situation. It makes it more challenging, but
Yeah,
that the final outcome and the goal is really going to be, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth all of the heartache and the emotional aspect of it now, because it's going to produce something in the long haul. You're looking into the future and where this can go. So like obviously there's a lot of perseverance in that, and I think like honestly like I give my hat off to you both, because like that's a lot. That's a lot. Like sometimes I
well,
feel
you know
overwhelmed, and then I
what?
hear what you're saying now and I'm like, okay, I have no reason to be feeling overwhelmed.
I told you this. I told you this last time. There's this like concept out there that women float around about balance. And I really don't believe that
Hmm.
there's perfect equilibrium ever. The way you balance your life
Right.
is some days you're an amazing, focused mother. Other days you're an amazing, focused business partner. Other days you're an amazing, focused employee. And then there's some days where you just suck. Like nothing you do is good enough, and everything goes wrong, and you cry, you call a friend, you hug your husband, and like you start off the next day fresh again. So, I mean, Mireille and I on Friday we went to the kitchen. I think she picked me up at like 5:15 in the morning. As soon as she could be on the road,
Wow.
it's 5 o'clock. She's at my house like 5:20. My kids are both screaming and crying because I'm leaving, and I'm like, I'm going to work so I can make a better future for you guys. Like, it definitely outweighs the positive. Like we're so motivated. We're so enjoying this business together. We get to work together, and we love spending time together. And we're doing it for freedom. Really, we're doing it so that we can bring our kids to the kitchen and have them help with us one day, and they could be running around our office, and we're not far away from them, and if they're sick we don't have anyone to answer to, right? So like that's what we're pushing for.
Hmm.
That's what we're pushing all the challenges one at a time. We're tackling them because that's the great picture, is actual to have like freedom by being, even
Yeah,
though like entrepreneurship is like strange because you want to get away from working 9 to 5, but then you end up working like 24/7. But it's your
but it's
choice,
something you love.
and it's your choice to
Yeah.
work those hours, you know what I mean? And it's flexible. Like if
Hmm.
tomorrow I'm gonna tell Mireille, I'm not gonna be on Instagram. I'm checking out for 4 hours. Like no one's gonna tell me anything about that. I can't do that at work. I can't be like, hey, I'm checking out for 4 hours. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna take a 4-hour lunch. I'll be back later. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And it is that freedom, like you're saying, yes, you end up working more, you may end up working later hours, but it's around how you get to create your hours. You get to create your schedule, and okay, I want to start later today, or maybe I'll work later, whatever it is, take a day off, take a week off. No, you have no one to report to but yourself at the end of the day when you're working for yourself. So obviously there's a lot of benefits with working, like doing that as well. You get to spend more time in the long haul with your family and whatever else you want to do. So I could definitely see, the challenges now, it is gonna outweigh the positives, even now, but even into the future as things get bigger and better for you both. It's gonna be an amazing outcome in the end, and it already has started like that. So that's, I think, really exciting, and obviously that's what's fueling you to continue. So that kind
I
of
think
again leads to my next point slash, oh yeah, sorry, no, go. Go for it.
no, no, no. I was just gonna say, I think another reason why this business is, or why it's fun to get into this business is because all the decision that we're making directly impact the
Yes.
future of this business. It's
Hmm.
everything that we, all of our ideas are in this 100%, and every outcome that comes out of it is because of a decision that we made. So you
Yes.
know um
Yeah.
Stephanie, like she's the marketer, right? So she developed an awesome alliance. Great. Now we're meeting all these other people, and it's so much fun because you're opening up doors. And so, or I tried a new product. It's awesome. People love it. It's directly our ideas, and just seeing how they flourish in front of you. So I think I think it's a really fun part of owning your own business too.
Right, for sure. And I think, even relating a bit to JMSB, they teach you network, meet as many people as you can, get to know as many people. And in entrepreneurship, that's the foundation. You need to just meet everyone. Just go talk to anyone and everyone. Like you're saying, you're giving out so many free products to have so many people try it. That's exactly, the basis of it. You want everyone to try to try your seed bites. You want them to taste it and review it and tell everyone, hey, buy this product, and I think that's what's super exciting about it. You get to meet so many interesting people along the way, and you never know the next person you meet how it's going to impact your next move in your business as well, which I think is honestly in that alone, because it's again relating a bit to like a relationship. You never know, one day you're like walking on the street and you happen to meet someone and they change your life forever, and it can be the same thing for your business. So I think that's kind of honestly really excited.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
think
I've
that
been
that's
loving
something
that
that would,
part. Like, I'm a natural busybody.
yeah.
So, networking it's strange because I would love to network in person, but with like social media and this
Yeah.
pandemic, we've just been making like so many connections online, and it's been opening up so many interesting conversations. And I think that Mireille's point is
Yeah.
actually excellent because as accountants, our work is intangible. Like, you don't see the result of all the hours of 40 hours of
Right.
work, right? It goes into financial reporting. It's when I talk to someone
It's
and
kind of tucked away.
and I don't, I like Mireille, her love language is food. Like, she's always feeding people. She's always making cakes like, she's the type of person who's going to wake up at 3 in the morning to make a cake for someone for their birthday. Like, that's not my jam. Like, I'm not good in the kitchen. I'm not comfortable in the kitchen. Um, but it's like it's so nice to just see someone smile or be like, I posted a reel about like our morning, getting up at like 4:30, kissing my crying babies, meeting her in the car, she's FaceTiming her son's calling her before school. And we got so many messages saying like, wow, that really spoke to us. So that's where I get my satisfaction. She gets the satisfaction off of the product, and I get the satisfaction off of whatever content I'm putting out there and getting
Yeah.
feedback. It's a very strange process for me because as much as I'm not shy to meet people, I'm kind of shy to put myself out there, like on social media, like show my face and show into my life and my children. And it's nice to be like well received, or someone to write to you like, wow, that really inspired me. Like, I've never kind of had
Hmm.
that before. Working in accounting, we work with like Excel files all day, so it's a different vibe together.
Right. Right, for sure. And like being able to, that little personable aspect of it, it is rewarding in itself, and like you said, it is intimidating putting yourself on social media because like, there is a lot of people who negatively comment, and you don't want that. You just want the positive aspect of it. But you are, at least that you are receiving all the positives and with the product, and they're relating to your story. And I think, even having people relate to you, I think that in itself is also a nice feeling. I can imagine, like, okay, they understand the struggle of being a mom and working and having a business and X, Y, and Z and all of that. So it's nice to make a community in that way. It's almost beyond just the product. It's like the community you're creating around your product, which
Exactly.
is just as
Exactly.
amazing as the product. That's like essentially what you're saying.
Yeah,
So I think that's
exactly.
really cool. So where do you see it going then in the future? I know you said you guys met a few days ago and you talked about it. Where's Seed Me going? What's coming next? I don't know if there's anything planned in the next 6 months, or if you want to talk about it. It's up to you.
Sure, we have like a lot on the agenda. We won't give away too many secrets, but
Yeah, no, of
I
course.
think it's gonna be focused in like expansion, right? And expansion means, retail expansion, product diversification, interesting collaborations, just basically being innovators. Like Mireille, her creative mind is full of recipe ideas and concepts, and mine is full of like, how do I get it out there? She tells me, okay, I have this product. I'm like, okay, who do I know? Who can I go? Negotiate something with. So we definitely have big plans. It's definitely going to be a lot of hard work, but I would say that the next 6 to 12 months is really going to be thinking about scaling and expansion.
Well,
Yeah,
that's very exciting. So, I hope for you guys that I get to see them in the stores. Like, that'd be super cool. If they're at like
yeah,
health food stores or something, that'd be very, very exciting. So, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm sure you're going to make that happen. I don't doubt that at all. So, let's get into today's topic of discussion, which we've already honestly been starting to talk about it. But more about, managing a 9 to 5, family, having a side hustle, how you do all of that, because like you said, it's not always possible to be each one, but you try your best in that moment. So I want to start off, which I've been doing this season, with myths or truths about the particular topic. So let me know if it's a myth or a truth and what I'm gonna say next. So is it easy to take your passion and turn it, no, sorry, it is easy to take your passion and turn it into a profitable business. Is that
myth,
a myth or a truth?
Myth,
myth.
myth.
We'll see how aligned you and I are, Mireille.
There's only two of them. There's only two of them.
Oh,
So the
darn.
second one, yeah, yeah, yeah. I only do like two. It's kind of like a warm up into the topic. Wait, no. So do you want to elaborate a bit more on why it's a myth? That.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy
Hmm.
because of the process. It's not easy because of the noise around us, So um like I joke with Steph, she wants to be all the way up to the staircase, but then we're at the first step. She wants to be all the way to the top, but we're at the first, and there's so many steps to go through, and overwhelming, steps. When we're talking about scale, there's a lot involved in that. There's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of sacrifices on the time we spend with our families, or the sacrifice of leaving something safe with a current job. So total myth. Total myth.
There's like
That's
an
fair.
incredible like fear factor behind it too, right? Like no matter how much we love Seed Me, like my salary is guaranteed at my job. My insurance is guaranteed. My pension is guaranteed. My
Exactly.
vacation weeks are guaranteed and my hours are guaranteed. Like I don't got to work at 9 p.m. I mean, maybe they'd like us to work till 9 p.m., but we don't, you know?
Right.
And
Exactly.
there's so much uncertainty, and especially like, as we said, like our dynamic is Mireille is more like jump into the adventure, and I'm more like hesitant. Like for me, there's a huge like ambiguity to me terrifies me. So and entrepreneurship is ambiguity. Like you don't know what the day is gonna bring.
This
You
is
don't know
very
what
true.
what
Yeah.
problems you're gonna have to solve, right? So
Like you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable,
yeah, and I'm
basically.
really not comfortable
Yeah.
being uncomfortable, like at all. Like I like planning. I like to know, I'm systemic about my choices, and so that's like very scary. And it doesn't
But
matter
that
what
could also be good though for the
it's a
having that
motivator.
balance,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And I think that's why like her and I make such a killer duo because when
Mm-hmm.
I'm like ready to jump off the ledge, she's like, "No, you're not going anywhere." And then vice versa, when she's discouraged, I'm like, "No, no, we got this." Like we understand each other. We know how to support each other and how to communicate to kind of calm the other person down. But it's still scary. It's super scary. And you can have all the passion in the world, but if you don't have a good business plan or a good strategy or a good network, like you're not really going. You won't go anywhere with it, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that's great. It makes a lot of sense, and I think it's very valuable advice. So the second one is you should be worried that potentially nobody will want to buy the product you are creating. Is that a myth or truth? I tried wording this in a way that would make sense to be a myth or a truth. I don't know if it came out in that way, if that
I'm
makes
gonna
sense.
wait. I'm gonna wait to see what Mireille answers, and then I have an anecdote.
Okay.
It's it's interesting because I would say myth and truth at the same time, if that even makes sense.
Okay.
Because absolutely, if people don't like my product, no one's going to buy it. um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, not everybody will like my product, and that's okay. We all have a different taste palettes, we all have different taste buds, and which is why, like in our seed bites, right now we have 5 flavors, but typically we have 4, and we have ranging from least sweet to most sweet, to the most decadent one being our double chocolate, and the least sweet being the seed power, which is just basically a bunch of seeds and dates. And there are people, it's the seed power is the least sweet, but there are people that just want that one because it's not as sweet. So should I be concerned? Is it a myth or is it a truth? Like I said, maybe a bit of both.
So
Yeah, that's a very fair answer.
I would say actually that I remember distinctly Mireille in my kitchen and me saying like, well, "What if it doesn't sell?" And she's like, "It's gonna sell." So I find it interesting that she has self doubt, but like I would say out of maybe I think we received like 2 comments that like it was too sweet for one product out of like
Okay.
over 600 clients that we've served, 600 orders that we've fulfilled.
Right.
I think you actually absolutely have to believe in your product, but I think that's the hard part is gaining that self confidence to say like, when we talk about like quitting our jobs or where are we gonna put this, I'm always like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? And she's like, we can't be entrepreneurs if we don't believe in ourselves. And I think that's like the
That's
number
yeah.
one rule. Like you need to just trust in your product. You need to trust in the process. And it's super hard to do. It's so scary, but it almost has to be a truth so that you believe it so much that you do whatever it takes to like just go down that path. It's an exercise. It's
Yeah.
like a mental exercise you need to do.
Yeah, no, and I think, it's probably very scary because like it's almost, you know, you see other people, for example, running businesses and like, succeeding and doing these big things. You're like, okay, well, everyone else they could do it. But then when it comes to you, it's like I feel like there's always, no matter how confident you are with yourself, you're like, okay, no, but like it can't be me that's gonna be that good. Like I don't know, I feel like that's just within myself.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
There's
like I always
always
have
like,
that.
I'm gonna use like a pun now. There's the seed of doubt that's always like lingering there, you know. But um,
Yeah.
it's true, and especially on social media, like it's wow, it's like sometimes I call Mireille and I'm like, did you see this person? They did this, and she's like, why do you care? I'm like, I don't know, I just care, I just do. I want
Yeah.
to be like
I
that.
feel like
I want to
I feel like
feel
you
good.
can't look at what other people are doing, especially when
No,
you're
no,
present on social
exactly.
media. You
Yeah,
can't be doing that because, like even with myself sometimes when I'm posting, I'm like, "Oh my god, but these other podcasters have done X, Y, and Z. Like, why am I not doing that?" And it's like, "Okay, we am I not going to be good enough?" And it's just like, then you start feeding that self-doubt a bit. You can't look at it. You post your stuff, you do your thing, and
okay.
like maybe sometimes for inspiration, but I
Yeah,
feel it's
and
like
then
you just got
also
to fully
if
just
you're kind
go.
of if you're kind of looking always around and you're trying to be something you're not, it's going to come across as non-authentic, right? Like sometimes I stress because I'm like, oh, I need to take a picture, but I can't find a spot in my house that is not full of clutter, of toys or laundry. And I see all these things on Instagram, and these people have these perfectly curated houses, and like, okay, I can try to like make up a corner that looks like out of a magazine, but that's not who I am and it's not my life. And maybe
Right,
5
right.
people will not relate to that, but there's maybe 3 people that will and be like, "Yeah, that's what my house looks like too." You know?
But I
So
feel there's something like you were saying authentic. There's something so much more nice. Like you're yes, you're selling the product, but again, it's like almost like a glimpse into your life and like the people who are, the real people that are behind the making of the product, like yes, you're a mom and you're gonna showcase that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You don't have to, mask that up when you're selling and showing Seed Me. When you're marketing it, you can market it as, these are moms with dreams who want to put out an amazing product. And I think that's like so cool about that. It makes you almost a niche to yourself, a different category, and like a different, it differentiates you in some way, and I think that's cool. I don't think, it has to be. And I know what you're saying exactly. You see like these perfectly like stacked pancakes, for example, and they're like the lighting is
or like
perfect and like the strawberries like
no,
glistening.
it's not even that that kills me. It's the people that have all wooden toys. Like, I don't know, I've never been gifted a
Mm.
wooden toy in 4 years. Everyone buys me the most plastic, large, obnoxious toys, and I'm like, "Where do these people do they give out lists to their family to say only buy these 5 things? Like, or is it all hidden in the garage somewhere, you know?" But,
No,
it's just not my life.
exactly.
It's not my life, you know? So and I
Exactly, and
think
I think that's totally okay.
yeah, and the more we put ourselves out there, the greater the response. I think people like our story. I think people want to know more about me and Mireille. And you know, I personally think that like part of our like unique selling proposition is us. Like the product's
Yeah.
amazing and all that, but you know, we have like a really unique friendship that is really special, and that the more we put out there, the more engagement we're getting. And I think that's why people are like loving the vibe of the brand.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly, like I was saying, it's a huge selling point. I think it's the best thing. And honestly, the more, over time, over social media as well, just in general, I find that everyone likes more just the authentic, natural self and less of the like perfect curated photos. And that's just like for influencers, even anyone, everyone wants like that mirror selfie, like, oh, hey, I just woke up. I mean, maybe that's a bit exaggerated. I don't know. But, just like the more, the more natural, like day to day life routine and not like the, like I was saying, like the perfectly like lit up picture. It's not real. It's not. That it's being made then specifically for Instagram or social media, and it's just so much more authentic and real. And I think like that's what people want, and that's what, especially over the pandemic. You're at home already. The only real way we can connect with humans is through social media. So it's like, why would I want to see like a fake picture then? It's nice to just see the real aspect of someone's life and what they're doing at their homes right now. So I think that's really cool that you guys really do that. And I think it's a great way to continue selling yourselves on social media. I think it's amazing.
Thanks.
I recommend it highly. So we again touched upon this a bit, but where do you guys want to do this full time at some point? Is that like the ultimate like end goal, or is it something you'd rather just keep as a part time side hustle venture? What would you guys say?
Yeah, definitely. This is something that you know, I tell Steph all the time, like we go big or we go home. There's a side hustle is tiring. We're working all day, we're working all night, and trying to squeeze in, you know, a meal at some point, a little couple of hours of snuggles here and there. And so, no, the idea is, we tested the concept. Concept is awesome. Now is time to move on to something else, and it being more of a full time passion.
It's a question of
Yeah,
when.
no, and I love that.
It's not a
Yeah,
question of if. It's just when.
it's
You know?
just when.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
at least that's in your mind, so it's always in the back of your head brewing.
Oh
Like,
my God,
okay,
it's the
when
million
is the
dollar
time? And
question. It's the million dollar
when, yeah.
question. We have this conversation like at least 5 times a week. We're like, so what would be the plan? Like, what's our marker to both jump in this? How do you feel? I'm terrified. How do you feel? I'm terrified. That's what we talk
Maybe it's like
about.
it's like a marriage, you'll just know. You'll be like, it's time. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I've never been there. I can't tell you. I don't know. But maybe you'll just wake up one morning with that feeling, and you'll be like, okay, I'm ready. This is the time. Maybe things will just be aligning that way, and that's the exciting part too of seeing
Yeah,
when that will come.
yeah, exactly.
You know
Yeah.
that's very exciting. So, what's a tip of advice that you would give to someone in your similar situation, having a family, working 9 to 5, and side hustling? What's a tip of advice that each of you would give for that person to succeed and, take on their passions?
My advice would be don't wait for it to be perfect. Just do it. Just do it. Like we were, Mireille literally and I, we were in my kitchen. My husband gave us like the name. He's like, "What about Seed Me?" We're like, "That's great. We love it. Let's do it." Open an account live. Took some pictures with a ring light. Like, just do it. And I'm someone that I probably think about branding and marketing a little too much, and I worry about like, oh, it's not perfect, it's not this, and I made Mireille change the shape of the product like 6 times, and like, what about this? What about that? But at the end of the day, like, don't overthink it. Just put it out there, push content out there, push networking out there, and again, like, just trust in the process. That's the advice I would give.
I
Yeah,
would
that's
say,
great.
I would say, day by day, take everything. Um, Not to be too overwhelmed by the mountain of stuff that need to be done, because you know I look at my to-do list that is somehow doesn't ever end. just I scratch a couple of points, and then I just keep having extra points. Like I'll scratch one, but then I'll add like seven. So um day by day, and just have a vision and remember why you started this, remember why you're doing this, and that smile that so and so's child had when he had the seed bite, or a family saying these are really cool at snack time and I love them, or a picture of a lunchbox with a seed bite. Like, this is what drives me, and so just remember why you started. And I think that's definitely something I attach myself to.
I love that. I think both your points, I think those are really like killer points, for anyone starting any sort of business, it's just do it and just take it day by day. Like that's just honestly like just perfect. I think that's perfect. That's a really great way to start. No, but it's true. It's very simple, but it's the truth. Like often people overthink everything they want to do. And, I'm like that as well. I'm like, oh, should I do this? Is this okay? Is that okay? Is this the right time? And it's like at some point you just got to block out the voices in your head and just run, just go. And like, and then you'll see where that takes you. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it'll probably lead you to something different or better. And like, that's
Exactly.
just the mentality you
Yeah.
need to have. So I think that's really great. So to sum up today's conversation, what quote do you guys each live by? I don't know if you have one or if there's a quote that like really resonates with you.
Like, I have a quote that resonates for me. Not sure if it's super related to the business. However, I do. It's something I live through for my
Mhm.
life in general. Would be mind over matter.
Okay.
Just whether I'm running 10 kilometers, whether I'm my kid is screaming for 2 hours in my face, just it'll pass and you could do it, you know. So mind over matter, totally.
Great. That's great. And Steph?
I don't really have like I don't know. I'm not really into like the whole like do you have a quote you live by or
Okay.
anything. I just think that I think that I'm afraid to have regrets. So I think it's better to try. Like I'll make up my own quote. Just try, you know? Kind of with the just do it line of thoughts, you know. I think that as much as I am fearful and I have all these insecurities, like I think it's worse to look back in 20 years and it's super weird. And I don't want to say how old we are because I know you're quite much younger than us, but it's so weird to get to a point where you, like you're a mom and your kids are growing and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm growing too." And time goes way faster when you have kids. Like, oh my god, the days turns into years like so fast. And I
Hmm.
don't want to be like on my rocking chair when I'm 80 and being like, I should have tried that. Because there's no
Yeah.
more time. There's no more time. Like it's not like when you're 20, 21, 22, 20, you have like all your 20s. Like for me, the next like 15 years, like it's getting older, you know? So I want to do like impactful things now. I'm young, I'm healthy, I have energy. Like I don't want to have any regrets,
Yeah.
you know? Just
I
want to
think
like
that's yeah.
seize the opportunity.
No, that's great. I honestly I love that. I completely agree. I think like, just in any point of life, if you have an idea, don't wait because you never know, just in general, like you could be 20, but something like catastrophic can happen in your life and a year from now and you won't be able to do that anymore. And like why wait? Why did you have to wait till then? Because you were scared and yeah, it's so much easier being like talking about it and just saying, yeah, like 'cause you were scared, like just move past it. But just moving internally past the fear a bit and just doing small things to get to where you want to go, I think will have like a larger impact on yourself and then in your life. And I think that I love that, you both are like, what, we don't want to wait till our kids are all grown up and we're like, wow, we have no more energy to do this kind of thing. It's like, let's start now. Let's see where this goes. We want to leave an impact. And I think like that's exciting. Hear you both talk about that like gives me a lot of excitement as well. So I really love that. And I'm really like, I'm excited to see where it goes for you. I'm following you guys on Instagram. So watching it like grow and see what honestly happens, because you never know where things will go in life. So that's very exciting. So thank you so much for taking tonight. I know it's, you guys are tired and busy. So thank you. It really means a lot to come on here and talk with me. If people want to order your seed bites, where do they go? Can you give like all your Instagram, all your info so they can follow and, buy your product? Where can they find that?
Yeah, so we have
So you
a
can go on our
website, super easy shopping experience. It's www.seed-me.com, and our Instagram handle is seedmemtl. And we will be sending you a sample so you can try them and you can do some TikToks for us.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, of course. No problems at all. I would be glad to eat some seed bites. I'm sure they're going to be
We'll be
delicious.
waiting for your
I love
honest
that stuff.
feedback. You have to give us honest
I will give
feedback.
you the most honest feedback. I'm sure I'm gonna like them though. Sounds like very my kind of product to enjoy, so I'm sure I will like it. But thank you so
Amazing.
much again. And for everyone else, if you want to follow my podcast page, it's at the Faces of Tomorrow underscore pod underscore yeah underscore podcast. You could follow me on Facebook as well as TikTok, Tiff Astley, just my regular name for behind the scenes of making podcasts. And obviously, listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube will be coming soon. So stay tuned for that if you want to watch the video version of this interview. And have a great rest of your week. And we'll be back again next Monday.